I've made a tier list of World of Warcraft private servers about a year ago, but since then a lot of things have changed, so I have to make an update. I'll rank the servers in 5 tiers, actually 4, starting from S all the way down to C. I'm not including F tier because I think even the worst server is still actually a decent choice for some players. And then there's a question mark tier. That's for the servers that I haven't really played on actively over the past year, so I'm not really able to judge it properly. Starting off with Twinstar, a project where I originally started my World of Warcraft journey. They currently have 2 active realms. Apollo, that's this one, you can't really see well. That's their Cataclysm realm, and then Helios, their Mists of Pandaria realm, which only launched about half a year ago. Their Apollo Cataclysm realm is pretty much dead. It peaks at around 100 players right now. It's completely empty. I would not recommend it to anyone. It was really well scripted, but how can you play World of Warcraft if there's nobody else to play with? That being said, if you're more into solo gameplay, wanna solo old vanilla raids, maybe play with a very tight-knit community, meaning that you have your friends in your guild and you're able to do some dungeons. I don't think you'd be able to do raids, and I don't think you'd be able to do BGs. No way you'd be able to do arena. Then yeah, could be for you. So let's put it in C tier. Helios, their Mists of Pandaria realm, is new. You would expect a lot of players on it. Well, not really. It launched in February with the pre-patch, and I think it was in April when they launched fully with Mists of Pandaria content of the first Mists of Pandaria patch. I played so much of Helios. It's actually the server and the realm where I spent the most time playing on throughout the past year playing World of Warcraft. I literally spent dozens of hours every single week during the launch weeks, launch months, around the time when Helios launched, and I was really hoping the server would do much better. Unfortunately, it was lagging, it was crashing. It happened oftentimes that the server would crash like 10 times in a row in a matter of 10 minutes. That's how ridiculous it was, and people left the server. The truth is, the server just can't handle more than like 1,500 players at one time without any problems. It seems like it's more of a hardware thing where, and so they essentially don't want that many players because they're not willing to invest into better hardware. That's how I understand it. That's the only explanation that would make sense. The server right now is pretty decent. It's decently scripted. It had some really big bugs around the launch, like the amount of times they changed the conquest point cap. That was completely ridiculous, but it's still really decently scripted server with really good scripting even of the old content. So if you want to solo those vanilla and even TBC raids, then Helios is pretty good. Don't expect more than maybe, I don't want to say 1,000 players at peak because that's a little too much of an overkill. I think it would be closer to some 700 to 800 players at peak, maybe at best on Helios. It just can't go higher than B tier. And overall for the Twinstar project, let's put the entire project in B tier. It's been around for a very long time. In May I had to quit Twinstar altogether. It was just that bad. I was not having fun at all playing on the server, despite having dozens of characters on the server. Turtle WoW, I cannot really judge Turtle WoW based on my 30 minutes of slash play time on the server. If you haven't seen the video of my experience on Turtle WoW, go watch it. It has more dislikes than likes. So nothing drives me to try again. I would say it wasn't terrible, it's just not the kind of game that I would enjoy. It is vanilla. I'm not a fan of vanilla in the first place, and there were many things I would have to get used to or get add-ons to help me with that. I'm gonna put it in the question mark tier because I can't really talk about the server based on 30 minutes of playing on it. Stormforge, and specifically Stormforge Mistblade, their Mist of Pandaria realm, is the one that I played on. I've never played on their Netherwing TBC realm, so I have no idea about how that is. You can tell me in the comments if you have any experience with it. But their Mistblade used to be really good back 1.5 years ago, and even a year ago was still really good. The population decreased drastically around the time Twin Stars Helios launched. I wouldn't say it would be because people left Stormforge's Mistblade for Twin Star Helios. It's more about the fact that it was kind of old, all the content was out, and also the fact that in summer Stormforge announced the planned release of Mistblade 2. So they essentially said goodbye to Mistblade 1 and that they are gonna be releasing a fresh Mist of Pandaria realm. So who would wanna continue playing on Mistblade 1 if there's gonna be a fresh Mistblade realm where everybody's gonna roll new characters anyway? Which, by the way, should be coming out pretty soon. They're teasing a launch in late 2023, and we're already in September now, so it might be a month or two away realistically. A very comparable kind of population like Helios has. I would say it is better scripted, but I've also bumped into issues with communication with other players, especially seeing how flooded the world chat is with Spanish-speaking people. If it was like 6 months ago, I would still put the server in A tier. Right now, I would put it in B tier just before Twin Stars Helios. I think there's no real point in playing on Mistblade 1 if there's Mistblade 2 coming, and we don't even know what's going to happen to Mistblade 1's characters, whether they're getting transferred over to Legion on Tauri or on Stormforge's Legion in the future. They're definitely not getting transferred to Mistblade 2 because it's most likely going to be fresh. So I'd like to know about that situation, at least whether there's something to do on Mistblade 1 or if those characters are just going to be gone and deleted forever. And the third server is also Mist of Pandaria oriented for now, soon to be Legion server, Tauri. Tauri, unfortunately, I don't know what it is about Mist of Pandaria servers, they're all dying. Tauri also reaches up to around 1,000 players at peak, no more than that. And it's essentially the same story as Stormforge's Mistblade, Twin Stars Helios. They're all really comparable. Tauri is pretty much spot on, perfectly scripted, all the new content, and that's why people are expecting so much of Tauri's Legion. But that is still a relatively far future. Stormforge Mistblade, Tauri's Mist of Pandaria, and Twin Stars Helios all at the same kind of level. Tauri also has Crystal Song, the Wrath of Lich King realm, which is completely dead and has been dead for like 2 years. Not recommended, that would be C tier. Moving on to Ascension. I've never played too much of Ascension. I tried it about a year ago. I leveled a character up to like level 20 or 25. It was fun. You were able to play low level BGs and so on. But this year, only recently, like few weeks ago, month or two ago, I tried Conquest of Azeroth, their new upcoming 21, I think it was 21 custom classes. That realm, I didn't get to play too much of it. I played for like 1 or 2 hours, but the class design, even on those levels 2 and 3, was already so enticing and so much fun. I really cannot wait for when the Conquest of Azeroth is coming out, because it's gonna be so much fun. And overall, Ascension just keeps surprising me in a positive way. Conquest of Azeroth was something that I've been waiting for like 2 years at this point. I'm really glad I finally got to try at least just a little bit of it, and it got me hyped even more. There are things that I don't like about Ascension. The amount of new things, the completely different class design, and the classless design where you have to pick certain talents, then certain talents are meta and the others are unplayable, and then you have to care about the enchants and so on. They're making it super easy. They're making their own content on YouTube, making tons of guides. You have a lot of great content creators on YouTube that are helping you understand how to go about playing on Ascension 2. Honestly, I wish other World of Warcraft private projects would put at least a little bit of as much effort as Ascension does. And I honestly think Ascension is above almost every other World of Warcraft private server project. And I would put it in S tier. It's not perfect. None of these private servers are perfect, but this is as close to perfection as I can imagine. Firestorm is a server I haven't really played on for a very long time. It was about a year, over a year ago, maybe a year and a half ago that I played on their Ouroboros Shadowlands realm. Well, it was still pretty fresh, but I didn't stay there for more than like an hour or so. It was just like retail with little more bugs. I was able to continue with my old characters on their Shadowlands realm, which is nice because I used to be really active on Firestorm's Legion. But it just became so heavily pay to win, and all the emphasis seems to be on the donate store these days. Constant discounts and promotions. I have to give Firestorm that they've been doing a lot of summer events too, so that's a big plus for Firestorm, really trying to make the gameplay more fun and interesting to players that might be bored. And Firestorm always comes out with a new expansion. Dragonflight is just around the corner. I'm actually expecting it to launch within 2023 likely, but as far as I know, we don't have any news of Dragonflight coming to Firestorm. We don't have the exact date, but we know that they are working on it. And just for that single fact, it definitely deserves at least B tier, and the fact that it's pretty active. Even the expansion like Shadowlands still has around 3,000 online players at peak, which is pretty impressive because it's a terrible expansion, let's face it. Despite not having played on the server in a really long time and just observing it from distance, I would still dare to judge it. And I really think it's much better than Stormforge's Mistblade, than Tauri's Mist of Pandaria, and Twin Stars Helios Mist of Pandaria right now. And I think it would deserve that A tier. It's definitely way below Ascension, but it's still a really, really solid choice. And it has the longevity, and it has a future, which only very, very few private servers can give. So now to Warmane, you obviously know where it's going. It's going to S tier, although I would argue it might go down to A tier. It has issues. There are a few bugs. I wouldn't say they're too annoying, but they're there. Pay to win, of course. It has longevity. Your characters that you've played in Warmane will be there forever. Obviously, talking about Warmane, I'm talking about the Wrath of Lich King, not about their dead Mist of Pandaria. But the issues with ganking, the fact that if you're leveling and you go around the main cities in like Outland and Thrallmar, you're gonna get ganked by max level players. The fact that max level players will be waiting for you in Grizzly Hills and killing you just for their own fun. I don't know who can consider it fun, just one-shotting someone that is 10 levels below. But there's obviously a big market for those people. But Warmane is still going forward. This year, or next year, we have the new Onyxia Progressive Vanilla through TBC and Wrath of Lich King Realm coming out. If you've never heard of it, you can watch some of my videos. I covered it and mentioned it in like 3 videos already, and I even got to play the open beta. It is open right now for anyone to try, but it has not been launched live yet, and as of right now we don't know any info on when the launch date should be. They're promising longevity with that realm going through at least 3 expansions, which is unheard of in 2023, and Most servers couldn't do it, but I think if there's one, it's Warmane. So now that they're introducing this new realm, a chance for everyone to start fresh and actually progress through different kinds of game, I think it really deserves to be in that S tier despite all of its issues. And finally, the final server on my list is Whitemane. Whitemane came out with their first ever Cataclysm realm in I think March. So that will be half a year ago now. Many people doubted it. Many people said it's going to be dead within weeks, within months. It's been half a year and it's doing pretty much as well as on the launch. It's still got those 3,000 to 4,000 players online every single day. That makes it one of the, I don't know, one of the five, I would say one of the top 5 biggest World of Warcraft private servers right now. And you can feel it in the game. It is really active. You're able to play 2v2s, you're even able to play 3v3s, and you're able to play 3v3 solo queues. Obviously, the 3v3 arena isn't as active as the other brackets. 3v3 solo queue is more active, and 2v2 is playable pretty much any time of the day, except like night and morning time. But other than that, it's super active. BG's popping pretty much instantly at almost any time of the day. Right now, Whitemane is on the Firelands patch and Rootless PvP season. It is not perfectly scripted. Just playing for several minutes, you will be able to tell that there's something off. There are some little issues like the BG ladder not showing people's damage or not showing the rankings properly. They only recently got out the armory, which I was waiting for a long time. It took them 6 months, but eventually they got it out. I was about to say it in this video, they didn't implement the armory yet, but finally they did with PvP ladders. It's really nice. It was worth the wait. But one thing they promised us is a character transfer from their old Wrath of the Lich King realm, Mograine, and I still haven't heard any info about it. And I would like to transfer my old paladin because I used to play on that original Whitemane Wrath of the Lich King realm like 2 years ago. And they have even more planned for the future. So Whitemane seems like it's a stable among private servers now. And it's not going anywhere, but it is going in S tier. It is a strong S tier server. So these are my thoughts about the World of Warcraft private servers that I've played on throughout the past year and my experience playing on them. I could still put Firestorm in question mark tier because, as I said, I really didn't play on it actively. But these are my thoughts. I think the 3 S tiers are really strong. Unfortunately, we don't have a strong Mist of Pandaria realm. They're all B tiers, and it's not really something I would recommend playing on for the most part. And we have so many really good World of Warcraft private servers coming out even within this year. And the next year is going to be crazy too. So we have a lot to look forward to. If you want to see rankings of some other World of Warcraft private servers that I've not mentioned within this video, you can watch the about 1-year-old video that I made in 2022 ranking the servers that I've played on then, also including UWow and WoW Circle and maybe a few others. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in World of Warcraft.